The bold and the beautiful spoilers week of January 19th. Traitor Eric infuriates Ridge. Will and RJ's rivalry erupts. The bold and the beautiful B&B spoilers for the week of January 19th to 23rd reveal that traitor Eric Forrester, John McCook, will infuriate Ridge Forrester, Torsten K. Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, and RJ Forrester's Brian Nicoletti rivalry will also erupt. So let's discuss what's in store. For starters, RJ should be firmly on Team Forrester Creations once he hears about Katie Logan Spencer's, Heather Tom, name grab and all the Logan drama. However, Eric Forrester, John McCook, has agreed to help Katie launch her first collection and doesn't seem like he'll make any effort to hide it. That means it probably won't be long until Ridge, Brooke, Logan Forrester, Catherine Kelly Lang, Steffi Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and everyone else at Forrester Creations reacts to Eric's bold move. Ridge may be especially outraged and confront Eric over being a traitor. However, Eric will stand his ground and do whatever he can to help Katie make a huge splash at Logan. Deke Sharp, Harrison Cohn, should officially sign on at Katie's fashion house soon and gain Eric as a mentor. So that'll be good news for him too. As for Dylan, Sydney Bullock, she seems poised to settle into a new job at Forrester Creations and create some issues in the process. Electra Forrester's Linnea Grace, jealousy could flare up if she catches Dylan making heart eyes at Will in a close moment. However, it looks like RJ may develop a crush on Electra since they aren't blood related. Perhaps Dylan could use that crush to stir the pot and drive a wedge in Electra's relationship with Will. We're already seeing some flashes of mischievousness in Dylan, so she could turn into a full-blown schemer if B&B keeps her on this road. Regardless, RJ and Will are definitely going to become rivals. So stay tuned for updates on any fierce face-offs ahead for these two. On a happier note, Carter Walton, Lauren St. Victor, and Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire will focus on their wedding plans while Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, and Hope Logan Spencer, Annika Noel, celebrate how much they have to be grateful for in their own remarriage. Over with Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, and Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon, Brooke might rip into one or both of them after she potentially finds out they're falling for each other. Hope may put Brooke on the path to the truth and leave her terrified over how Sheila Sharp, Kimberlyn Brown, might react. Despite all the warnings they've been receiving, Deacon and Taylor will play with fire by continuing to spend time together. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Sheila's sure to blow her top once the depth of Taylor and Deacon's connection comes to light. The bold and the beautiful spoilers Wednesday, January 14th. Donna panics over Eric helping Katie. The bold and the beautiful B&B spoilers for Wednesday, January 14th. Reveal that Donna Logan, Jennifer Garais, will panic over Eric Forrester, John McCook, helping Katie Logan Spencer, Heather Tom, while Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, struggles with some second thoughts. B&B fans know that Electra and Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, wanted to do more for Dylan, Sydney Bullock, so they took her to Forrester Creations and made a pitch to Steffi Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood. Once Steffi found out Dylan had been living in her car and was struggling to get a job, she was quite eager to speak with Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., and hopefully find a place for her at Forrester Creations. On Wednesday's episode, Dylan will grow increasingly excited about the possibility of having a steady source of income and working with close friends. As Dylan plays up how great it'd be to work in the same building as Electra and Will, some doubts about this little arrangement may creep in for Electra. Although Electra considers Dylan a pal and wants to help her get back on her feet, part of her is clearly uneasy about Dylan getting too close to Will. Dylan needs to earn money so she can afford her own place, but Electra may start to worry about her latching onto Will even more at the office. Over with Donna. She'll deal with some worries of her own on Wednesday's show. Once Donna gets updates on Eric's decision to help Katie launch her first collection and get Logan off the ground, alarm bells will go off. Donna is already concerned about the tension between Katie and Brooke, Logan Forrester, Catherine Kelly Lang, but she'll fear it's going to get even worse if Eric makes this bold move to help Katie. Although Donna wants Katie to succeed, she also hates all the conflict between her sisters. Donna will know this could bring additional friction in Eric's relationship with Ridge, too. Bottom line, this is a mess that's only going to get messier once Eric does everything in his power to make Logan a key player in the fashion world. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Donna will panic a bit as Eric moves forward with his plans. So stay tuned for any other news that's headed her way. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Eric's ominous "you're dead" clue, Katie's fate decided by Logan's launch. The bold and the beautiful B&B. Spoilers reveal that Eric Forrester, John McCook, may have just delivered an ominous "you're dead" clue. Will Katie Logan Spencer's Heather Tom fate be decided by Logan's launch? Katie has faced her fair share of medical emergencies over the years, so fans are always concerned about her health. That's especially true when it comes to Katie's heart and the stressful situations she tends to land in. During all the Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada turmoil, there were some hints in the dialogue to suggest that Katie might be gearing up for another heart crisis. However, B&B ultimately dropped that angle and abruptly ended the Luna story. It seemed like the show was eager to pivot to this fashion rivalry, but they could potentially keep the Katie health drama. Perhaps it could just come about in a different way now that Katie's feeling so overwhelmed about Logan's kickoff. In B&B's January 13th episode, Eric talked about how critical it was to make a big splash right out of the gate. Eric insisted Katie's first collection had to be so wonderful that it couldn't be denied by anybody. "If you don't have a big opening, you're dead," Eric warned Katie and rattled her in the process. Although Eric was obviously talking about Katie's fashion house with that comment, it's interesting that he phrased it that way. Were the writers hinting that Katie could face a fatal or nearly fatal health crisis if her launch crashes and burns? Maybe Katie's medical woes could come into play after all and leave her heart under some serious strain. Between the stress of preparing for Logan's launch and the crushing blow of defeat if it fails, Katie's heart just might give out on her. That doesn't necessarily mean Katie will get killed off, but Eric's hint is at least cause for alarm. Katie could end up hospitalized in a fight for her life if this fashion venture goes wrong, so stay tuned for updates on any huge news ahead. Bottom line, the bold and the beautiful spoilers suggest Katie's fate may be riding on whether Logan succeeds or fails. The bold and the beautiful Tuesday, January 13th recap. Katie cries as Eric vows to help with Logan's first collection. The bold and the beautiful B&B recap for Tuesday, January 13th reveals that Katie Logan Spencer, Heather Tom, cried in gratitude as Eric Forrester, John McCook, vowed to help with Logan's first collection. At the beach house will Spencer, Crew Morrow, and Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, let Dylan, Sydney Bullock, know they wanted to do more for her. Dylan insisted Electra and Will had done enough, but they hinted about a plan and convinced her to come with them. At Forrester Creations, Carter Walton, Lauren St. Victor, and Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, beamed over their engagement news, which Steffi Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, Ridge Forrester, Torsten Kay, and Brooke Logan Forrester, Catherine Kelly Lang, celebrated. Daphne had also heard about all the Logan drama happening with Katie, so she wanted to check on Brooke. There were plenty of Katie-related complaints around the office, but Ridge basically predicted Logan was destined to fail. In the showroom later, Steffi met with Dylan, Electra, and Will. Dylan came clean about Will and Electra helping her after they found out she'd been living in her car. After Dylan offered updates on the guest house situation, Electra played up how Steffi could help Dylan even more. Steffi was happy to do whatever she could for Dylan. Although Dylan was a great teacher, she was also a great artist. Will and Electra played up the idea of Dylan working at Forrester Creations, but Dylan was skeptical about having the qualifications for that. Steffi offered reassurance before insisting she'd talk to Ridge about this, so Dylan was excited over possibly getting hired. At the Forrester mansion, Donna Logan Forrester, Jennifer Garais, acknowledged that she could understand both Katie and Brooke's perspectives. That said, Donna still showed Katie her support and was rooting for her success. Once Eric joined the conversation, He also threw his support behind Katie and played up how extraordinary her fashion house would be. Eric didn't blame Katie for leaving Forrester Creations and was eager to see her take the Logan name to new heights. There was some talk about Eric's retirement and how he wouldn't go back to Forrester since Ridge was in charge now. It was partly a matter of pride, but Katie also mentioned Eric's talent. After Donna left on Tuesday's B&B episode, Katie turned to Eric for guidance since all this was daunting. Eric stressed the importance of Katie's first collection and how she had to come out swinging with a big debut. Katie started panicking a bit since she didn't have a designer locked in, but Eric decided she needed someone to believe in her. Eric could be that person for Katie, so he vowed to come to Logan and help her launch the first collection. Katie cried tears of gratitude as Eric embraced her and reiterated that he believed in her. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Eric's decision will lead to some problems with Ridge and the others at Forrester Creations, so stay tuned. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Brooke solves Taylor Mystery Man puzzle, makes big move to stop Deacon's mistake. The bold and the beautiful B&B spoilers hint that Brooke Logan Spencer, Catherine Kelly Lang, will solve the Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig Mystery Man puzzle and make a big move to stop Deacon Sharp's Sean Cannon mistake. Steffi Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, already told Hope Logan Spencer, Annika Noel, about Taylor and Deacon developing feelings for each other. Deke Sharp, Harrison Cohn, knows about Deacon and Taylor's mutual spark, too. However, Brooke could be next in line when it comes to figuring out who Taylor has fallen for. On January 16th, B&B spoilers say Brooke will have some puzzle pieces that she tries to fit together. It's possible Brooke will witness or overhear something that leaves her intrigued. It's also possible Hope will drop some hints and point Brooke in the right direction when it comes to the man Taylor is now interested in. Brooke has definitely been curious about Taylor's love life lately since she's hoping Ridge Forrester, Torsten K. X will move on with someone else. Although part of Brooke may want to keep her old competition busy, just in case. She honestly seems like she wants Taylor to find some happiness after all the heartache. Of course, Brooke won't be pleased if she finally pries it out of Hope that Taylor and Deacon are crushing on each other. Whether Hope leaks the news or Brooke figures it out herself, you can bet Brooke's going to be thrown for a loop. Like Steffi, Brooke may feel like it's a terrible idea to risk riling Sheila Sharp, Kimberlyn Brown up, since Brooke has been on the receiving end of Sheila's wrath before. She may think it's far too dangerous for Taylor and Deacon to go down this road. Brooke might decide to take matters into her own hands by confronting Taylor and backing Steffi up. Perhaps Brooke will echo Steffi's opinion that Taylor needs to find any other man. Naturally, it's also possible Brooke will corner Deacon and push him to stop pursuing Taylor instead. Brooke may think Deacon and Taylor need to cut off all contact to avoid temptation. It might be the only way to stop what Taylor and Deacon have set in motion and prevent Sheila's next twisted revenge plot. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Sheila may become a wild woman scorned somewhere down the line, so we'll bring you updates on any other shockers ahead. Traitors, bloodlines, and broken loyalties. A week that threatens to redefine Forrester power forever. The week of January 19th on The Bold and the Beautiful does not simply move pieces around the chessboard. It flips the board over entirely. Long-standing loyalties fracture. Blood ties are tested, and emotional fault lines that have quietly cracked beneath the surface finally give way. What emerges is not chaos for chaos' sake, but something far more dangerous. Calculated rebellion dressed up as righteousness. At the center of it all stands Eric Forrester, the man who built an empire on legacy, loyalty, and the idea that family must always come first. Yet now, in a move that feels almost unthinkable, Eric becomes the very thing his son Ridge despises most, a traitor to Forrester Creations. But this betrayal isn't born of malice. It's born of conviction. And that distinction is what makes it explosive. Eric Forrester's quiet rebellion, when the patriarch chooses his own truth. Eric Forrester has lived many lives, visionary designer, devoted husband, flawed father, forgiving patriarch. But rarely, if ever, has he stood so deliberately against the machinery he created. His decision to help Katie Logan launch her own fashion house is not an impulsive whim or a moment of weakness. It is a statement. Eric is choosing evolution over stagnation. For years, Forrester Creations has wrapped itself in the language of legacy, but legacy without growth becomes rot. Eric sees this. He feels it. And when Katie Logan comes forward, not as a Logan seeking revenge, but as a woman seeking independence, Eric recognizes something familiar. He sees the hunger he once had, the creative fire that refuses to be smothered by boardrooms and bloodlines. By agreeing to mentor Katie, Eric is doing more than lending his name. He is validating her right to exist outside the shadow of the Forresters. And in doing so, he is implicitly condemning the culture Ridge has built, one rooted in control, suspicion, and emotional gatekeeping. Eric doesn't sneak around. He doesn't hide. He stands tall in his decision, knowing exactly how Ridge will react. That's not betrayal by accident. That's betrayal by principle. Ridge Forrester's fury, when control slips through his fingers. Ridge Forrester does not handle loss of control well. Never has. His authority at Forrester Creations is not just professional, it's personal. The company is his identity, his armor, and his justification for every hard decision he's ever made. So when Eric sides with Katie Logan, Ridge doesn't see nuance. He sees treason. In Ridge's mind, the Logans are always plotting, always encroaching, always taking something that doesn't belong to them. Eric's involvement doesn't soften that belief. It inflames it. The idea that his own father would help a Logan build something competitive feels like a slap in the face, not just as CEO, but as a son. The confrontation between Ridge and Eric is inevitable and volcanic. Ridge will demand loyalty. Eric will demand respect. And for the first time in a long while, Ridge won't be able to bulldoze his way to compliance, because Eric doesn't need Ridge anymore, and that truth terrifies him. Katie Logan's reinvention, not a power grab, but a declaration of independence. Katie Logan has spent most of her adult life being defined by relationships, to Bill, to her sisters, to the Forresters. This new chapter is different. This isn't revenge, it's reclamation. Launching her own fashion house is Katie's way of saying she will no longer ask for space, she will create it. Eric's involvement elevates the venture instantly, but it also places a massive target on her back. The Forresters will view her success not as entrepreneurship, but as encroachment. Yet Katie is prepared. She knows the whispers will come. She knows Ridge will question her motives. And she knows Brooke will be caught in the middle, forced to defend a sister without fully betraying a husband. This is not Katie stepping into the spotlight. This is Katie daring anyone to push her back into the shadows. Deke Sharp's rise. Mentorship, legacy, and the next generation of power. Eric's decision to mentor Deke Sharp alongside Katie is not coincidental. It's strategic. Deke represents the future. Raw, talented, unburdened by decades of grudges. Under Eric's guidance, Deke isn't just learning fashion. He's learning how to survive the politics that come with it. For Deke, this opportunity is transformational. He's no longer an outsider looking in. He's being invited into the inner sanctum by the man who wrote the rules. And that alone will rattle Forrester Creations to its core. Dylan's arrival, innocent newcomer or calculated disruptor. Dylan's presence at Forrester Creations initially reads as harmless, a new employee finding her footing. But the cracks in that facade appear quickly. There's curiosity in her gaze, calculation in her timing, and just enough mischief to suggest she's testing boundaries. Her interactions with Will Spencer are not overtly flirtatious, but they don't need to be. Proximity alone is enough to spark insecurity, especially when Electra Forrester is already navigating her own uncertainties. Dylan doesn't have to seduce anyone to cause damage. She just has to be seen, and she knows it. Electra Forrester's jealousy when fear replaces trust. Electra is not insecure by nature, but the situation around her is designed to provoke exactly that. Will's closeness with Dylan, combined with the subtle emotional distance that creeps into long-term relationships, creates fertile ground for doubt. Electra doesn't want to be the jealous girlfriend, but jealousy doesn't announce itself. It creeps in quietly, disguised as concern. And once it takes root, it distorts everything. R.J. Forrester's awakening, rivalry, desire, and the birth of a new conflict. R.J. has always lived in the margins of Forrester power, observing, absorbing, waiting. But this week marks a shift. R.J. chooses a side, and in doing so, he steps directly into conflict with Will Spencer. R.J.'s loyalty to Forrester Creations hardens when he sees Katie's move not as ambition, but as aggression. His growing feelings for Electra only complicate matters. She becomes both motivation and battleground. The rivalry between R.J. and Will is not loud at first. It simmers, glances linger, conversations sharpen, and when it finally erupts, it will feel inevitable. Because this isn't just about romance. It's about identity. Carter and Daphne, love in the eye of the storm. While chaos brews elsewhere, Carter Walton and Daphne Rose focus on something rare in this world, joy. Their wedding plans offer a brief reprieve from betrayal and rivalry. But even this happiness exists under a shadow. In Los Angeles, no celebration is untouched by scandal for long. Liam and Hope, gratitude after the fire. Liam and Hope's remarriage is framed not as a fairy tale, but as a triumph of survival. They've seen the worst. They've endured loss, and now they choose gratitude over resentment. Their joy is quiet, earned, and deeply vulnerable to the storms circling around them. Brooke's reckoning, when truth becomes a weapon. Brooke Logan's world tilts when she senses something off between Taylor Hayes and Deacon Sharp. The idea that they might be falling for each other isn't just shocking, it's destabilizing. Hope may be the one to connect the dots, pushing Brooke toward a truth she desperately wants to avoid. Because once Brooke knows, she can't unknow. And then there's Sheila, Taylor, and Deacon, playing with fire they don't understand. Taylor and Deacon's connection feels dangerous because it is, not just emotionally but historically. Every warning they've received is grounded in experience. And yet they continue, because some fires feel warm before they burn. Sheila Sharp's reaction is not a question of if, but when. And when it happens, it will not be subtle. It will be catastrophic. A week that changes everything. The week of January 19th doesn't just advance storylines. It redraws alliances, births new rivalries, and exposes fault lines that can no longer be ignored. Eric's betrayal forces a reckoning. RJ and Will's rivalry signals generational warfare. And Sheila's looming fury promises consequences no one is prepared to face. The psychology of betrayal, control, and inheritance. Why this week cuts deeper than ever before. What makes the week of January 19th so volatile isn't just what happens. It's why it happens. Every major move is rooted in long-buried emotional truths, unresolved wounds, and generational expectations that were never fully examined, only inherited. At Forrester Creations, history isn't remembered. It's reenacted. And this week, that cycle becomes painfully visible. Eric Forrester, the patriarch who refuses to become a relic. Eric Forrester has reached a stage of life few powerful men survive with clarity. The realization that legacy is not about control, it's about relevance. For decades, Eric believed that passing the torch meant stepping aside. But watching Ridge run Forrester Creations has forced him to confront an uncomfortable truth. The company may still carry the Forrester name, but it no longer carries Eric's soul. Eric sees rigidity where there should be creativity, fear where there should be innovation, and loyalty demanded rather than earned. In Ridge's reign, Eric recognizes echoes of mistakes he once made himself. but amplified by ego and resentment. Helping Katie Logan is not rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's Eric reclaiming authorship of his own values. Katie's fashion house represents everything Forrester Creations used to be, a place where talent mattered more than bloodlines, where creativity was nurtured rather than policed. By mentoring Katie, Eric is effectively resurrecting the version of himself he misses most. And that is why he refuses to hide. Eric doesn't sneak around because secrecy implies shame. He feels none. Ridge Forrester, the fear beneath the fury. Ridge Forrester's anger is loud, but its source is quiet. It isn't about Katie. It isn't even about Eric. It's about the terrifying possibility that Ridge's authority is conditional and always has been. Ridge grew up idolizing his father, but he also grew up competing with him. Every success Ridge achieved was measured against Eric's shadow. When Ridge finally took control of Forrester Creations, it wasn't just a promotion, it was validation. Now Eric's defiance threatens that validation. If Eric can walk away and build something meaningful elsewhere, what does that say about Ridge's leadership? If talent follows Eric, not the company, what does that reveal about Ridge's grip on loyalty? Ridge lashes out because he feels exposed. Calling Eric a traitor is easier than admitting fear. Confrontation is easier than introspection. And Ridge will never say the words out loud. But on some level, he knows this isn't just a business betrayal. It's a referendum on his worth. Brooke Logan Forrester, trapped between blood and marriage. Brooke has lived her life straddling worlds. Logan and Forrester, heart and ambition, loyalty and survival. Eric's alliance with Katie places her in an impossible position yet again. Katie is not just her sister. She's her emotional anchor. Watching Katie finally claim independence fills Brooke with pride. But watching Ridge react with fury fills her with dread. Brooke understands Ridge's insecurity better than anyone. She's seen it surface every time control slips through his fingers. And she knows that Eric's move threatens to reopen old wounds, especially those Ridge never healed. Brooke's silence in the early days of this conflict isn't indecision. It's calculation. She's weighing which truth will cause less damage and realizing neither choice is safe. Eventually, she will be forced to speak. And when she does, someone will feel betrayed. Katie Logan, strength without apology. Katie's transformation is quiet, deliberate, and deeply personal. She isn't launching a fashion house to compete with Forrester Creations. She's launching it to prove she can exist without it. Years of being underestimated have shaped Katie's resolve. She's been the reasonable Logan, the supportive sister, the emotional afterthought. This venture is her refusal to remain small. Eric's mentorship gives her credibility, but it also makes her a lightning rod. Every success will be scrutinized. Every mistake will be amplified. Katie knows this. What she may not fully grasp yet is the emotional toll of standing alone in a world that punishes independence, especially from women who refuse to play the victim. Deke Sharp, the student who could become a threat. Deke Sharp's signing is more significant than it appears on the surface. For Eric, Deke represents something Ridge refuses to prioritize: unfiltered potential. Deke hasn't been shaped by decades of Forrester politics. He doesn't carry inherited grudges or assumptions. That makes him dangerous. Under Eric's guidance, Deke is learning more than fashion. He's learning how power moves, how loyalty is built, and how influence is sustained without intimidation. Forrester Creations may not see Deke as a threat yet. They will. Dylan, the disruptor who doesn't need a villain label. Dylan's power lies in subtlety. She doesn't manipulate, she observes. She doesn't attack, she positions. Her interactions with Will Spencer are ambiguous by design. She allows others to project their fears onto her, knowing those fears will do the work for her. Dylan understands something crucial. In environments built on legacy, newcomers are never neutral. Their presence alone destabilizes dynamics that rely on predictability. If Dylan chooses to lean into this role, she won't need to sabotage anyone directly. She'll simply let insecurity do the damage. Electra Forrester, when legacy becomes a cage. Electra has grown up surrounded by privilege, but privilege comes with expectations. She is expected to be composed, loyal, confident. Admitting jealousy feels like failure. Watching Dylan and Will together triggers something deeper than romantic insecurity. It awakens Electra's fear of being replaceable. In a family obsessed with succession, being overlooked is the ultimate threat. Electra's challenge will be deciding whether to confront her fear or allow it to quietly erode her trust. Because once trust fractures, legacy offers no protection. Will Spencer, torn between inheritance and independence. Will Spencer is caught between two worlds, Spencer ambition and Forrester expectation. His rivalry with RJ Forrester is inevitable because both are searching for identity in systems designed to define them. Will doesn't want to be seen as Bill Spencer's son who drifted into Forrester orbit. He wants his presence to mean something. That desire makes him vulnerable. Every glance, every misunderstanding, every perceived slight becomes fuel for competition. Not because Will hates RJ, but because he fears becoming irrelevant. RJ Forrester, from observer to combatant. RJ's shift this week is seismic. For years, he's watched Forrester conflicts from the sidelines, absorbing lessons without choosing sides. That changes now. RJ's loyalty to Forrester creations isn't blind, it's reactive. Katie's move feels like invasion. Eric's involvement feels like abandonment. And Electra becomes the emotional focal point of his awakening. His feelings for her aren't just romantic, they're symbolic. She represents belonging, legacy, and purpose. The rivalry with Will isn't just personal, it's existential. Sheila Sharp, the calm before the inferno. Every storyline this week exists under Sheila Sharp's shadow. Her absence is deceptive. Sheila never explodes without certainty, and that certainty is building. Taylor and Deacon's connection threatens everything Sheila believes she secured. Her reaction will not be impulsive. It will be surgical. What comes next? This week isn't about resolution. It's about ignition. The Bold and the Beautiful is setting the stage for long-term consequences that will ripple through families, businesses, and identities. Loyalty will be tested. Power will be challenged. And the idea that legacy can protect anyone will be shattered. The Sheila factor, corporate aftershocks, and the war for the future. Every storm on the Bold and the Beautiful has a center. Sometimes it's loud. Sometimes it's hidden. This week, the center is neither Ridge's fury nor Eric's rebellion. It is the quiet inevitability of Sheila Sharp. Because while everyone else reacts, Sheila calculates. Sheila Sharp, the myth, the monster, and the method. Sheila Sharp is often misunderstood, not by the characters who fear her, but by the ones who underestimate her. Sheila is not chaos incarnate. She is patience weaponized. Her power has never come from impulsive violence, but from emotional leverage. She studies people. She learns what they value, what they fear, and what they refuse to admit, even to themselves. And then she waits. Taylor Hayes and Deacon Sharp continuing their relationship despite every warning is not just reckless, it is arrogant. They believe awareness is protection. Sheila knows better. To Sheila, love is not sacred. It is a vulnerability. Taylor represents legitimacy, respectability, everything Sheila has been denied. Deacon represents choice, the idea that someone could leave Sheila not out of fear, but desire for something better. That combination is unforgivable. When Sheila discovers the depth of Taylor and Deacon's connection, her response will not be explosive. There will be no immediate confrontation, no screaming meltdown. She will smile, and that smile will be the most dangerous thing in the room. Because Sheila doesn't destroy people by attacking them directly. She destroys their environment, their credibility, their safety. Taylor's reputation will be her first target. Deacon's stability will be the second. And the blast radius will include everyone who thought this was just a romantic risk. Taylor Hayes, the illusion of emotional control. Taylor has built her identity around emotional intelligence. She believes that understanding behavior gives her immunity from consequence. It doesn't. Taylor's connection to Deacon isn't reckless because it's passionate. It's reckless because it's idealized. She sees Deacon not as he is, but as who he might become if love redeems him. That belief blinds her to reality. Taylor's mistake is assuming Sheila is predictable, assuming past behavior defines future response, assuming that because she understands trauma, she can manage it. Sheila is not trauma. She is adaptation. And Taylor is walking into a situation where her professional credibility, personal safety, and emotional boundaries will all be tested simultaneously. Deacon sharp, confidence built on denial. Deacon has survived Sheila before. That survival has bred a dangerous confidence. He believes he knows her patterns, her limits, her breaking points. He doesn't. Sheila has evolved. Time, loss, and exclusion have sharpened her instincts. Deacon continuing to spend time with Taylor isn't just betrayal, it's provocation. And Sheila has always responded to provocation with escalation. Deacon's greatest flaw is believing that his past with Sheila gives him leverage. It doesn't. It gives her motive. Brooke Logan, the price of knowing too much. When Brooke learns the truth about Taylor and Deacon, her reaction won't be purely moral outrage. It will be fear. Brooke understands Sheila in a way few others do. She has watched the collateral damage. She has lived through the aftermath. Hope guiding Brooke toward the truth is not malicious, it's protective. But protection often comes too late. Once Brooke knows, she becomes complicit if she stays silent. And speaking out will cost her. Brooke's role in the coming fallout won't be central, but it will be pivotal. Her warning may be dismissed. Her instincts may be questioned. But when Sheila strikes, Brooke will be the one who saw it coming. Forrester Creations, a company built on blood, now bleeding from it. Eric Forrester's alliance with Katie Logan does more than anger Ridge. It destabilizes the internal mythology of Forrester Creations. For decades, the company's power structure relied on a simple belief: Forrester blood equals loyalty. Talent is secondary. Innovation is curated. Outsiders are tolerated, never trusted. Eric's move shatters that belief. If the founder himself can choose external loyalty over internal obedience, the entire hierarchy becomes negotiable. Designers will question leadership. Executives will reassess alliances. And Ridge will feel that shift immediately. Control at Forrester Creations has always depended on perception. Once people realize that Eric's influence exists outside the building, Ridge's authority becomes vulnerable. This isn't just a business threat. It's an existential one. Steffi Forrester Finnegan, the enforcer of order. Steffi will not respond emotionally to Eric's betrayal. She will respond strategically. Where Ridge reacts, Steffi plans. She will see Katie's fashion house not as competition, but as precedent. And precedent is dangerous. Steffi's role will be to contain the fallout, to reinforce loyalty, to remind Forrester employees where power still resides. But Steffi's strength is also her weakness. She believes order can always be restored. This time it may not be. RJ and Will, a rivalry that redefines the future. What makes RJ Forrester and Will Spencer's rivalry so compelling is that neither of them fully understands what they're fighting for. They believe it's about Elektra. It's not. Elektra is the symbol, not the source. The real conflict is about inheritance versus merit, legacy versus reinvention. RJ represents continuity. He wants to preserve what exists, even if it's flawed, because it gives him identity. Will represents disruption. He wants to prove he belongs without being owned by lineage. Their clashes will escalate because neither can afford to lose. Losing means becoming invisible. And invisibility is the one thing both fear most. Dylan's strategic silence. As RJ and Will square off, Dylan watches. She listens. She learns. Dylan's intelligence lies in restraint. She understands that conflict creates opportunity, and that stepping back can be more powerful than stepping in. If she chooses to intervene later, it won't be emotional. It will be precise. Hope and Liam. Stability is contrast, not protection. Hope and Liam's gratitude-filled remarriage stands in stark contrast to the chaos elsewhere. But contrast does not equal immunity. Their stability will soon be tested, not because of internal conflict, but because external storms don't respect emotional boundaries. In a world where secrets metastasize and loyalty shifts overnight, even strong foundations can crack. What this week truly sets in motion. The week of January 19th is not a climax. It is a fault line. Eric's defiance proves legacy can walk away. Sheila's patience proves danger doesn't need volume. RJ and Will's rivalry proves the future will not wait for permission. Everything that follows, betrayals, confrontations, breakdowns, will trace back to this moment. Because this is the week where everyone chooses something, and every choice comes with a cost. Endgame's emotional collapse, and the beginning of the end for the Forrester dynasty. By the time the week of January 19th reaches its midpoint, something fundamental has already changed. Characters may still be standing in familiar rooms, still speaking in measured tones, still pretending this is business as usual. But underneath, the architecture of their world has shifted. This is the point of no return. What follows is not a series of dramatic moments, but a cascade. And once it starts, there is no force powerful enough to stop it. Sheila Sharp's endgame, destruction without blood. Sheila Sharp's most terrifying trait has never been violence. It has been restraint, the ability to wait while others assume danger has passed. The discipline to strike only when maximum damage is guaranteed. Taylor Hayes and Deacon Sharp believe they are managing risk by being cautious, discreet, and emotionally aware. That belief is exactly what makes them vulnerable. Sheila's endgame will not involve a public meltdown or a physical confrontation. That would be too obvious, too traceable, too easy to dismiss as Sheila being Sheila. Instead, she will aim for credibility. Taylor's reputation as a mental health professional is her greatest strength and her greatest weakness. Sheila understands that all it takes is a seed of doubt, a question raised in the wrong ear, an implication, not an accusation. Sheila doesn't need to prove Taylor is unfit. She only needs others to wonder. For Deacon, the attack will be more personal. Sheila will target his sense of safety, his belief that he has finally built a stable life free from her shadow. That illusion will be dismantled quietly, through interference, manipulation, and calculated coincidence. By the time Deacon realizes what's happening, he will already be isolated, and Sheila will never need to be seen near the fallout. Taylor Hayes, when knowledge fails to protect. Taylor has always believed that insight equals control, that understanding patterns prevents you from becoming part of them. But the truth she has avoided is brutal and simple. Awareness does not equal immunity. Taylor's involvement with Deacon is not a lapse in judgment, it's a contradiction of her identity. And contradictions create vulnerability. Sheila will exploit that. Taylor's downfall, if it comes, will not be sudden. It will be incremental. A loss of confidence here, a professional challenge there, a subtle shift in how others respond to her presence. Taylor will begin to question herself before anyone else does. And that internal erosion will do more damage than any external attack ever could. Deacon Sharp, the cost of believing you've outgrown the past. Deacon's greatest mistake is assuming survival equals victory. He has survived Sheila before, yes, but survival does not mean dominance. Sheila knows Deacon better than anyone. She knows how he rationalizes, how he justifies, how he convinces himself that this time is different. It isn't. Deacon's connection to Taylor gives him a sense of legitimacy he's never had, and Sheila will take that personally. because legitimacy is something she has always been denied. When she strikes, it won't be to reclaim Deacon. It will be to prove that no matter how far he runs, she still defines the boundaries of his world. Brooke and Ridge, a marriage already fractured. Eric's rebellion and the Logan Forrester conflict surrounding Katie do not exist in isolation. They seep into Ridge and Brooke's marriage, aggravating wounds that never fully healed. Ridge sees Katie's success as an attack. Brooke sees it as empowerment. That fundamental difference cannot be bridged with compromise. It requires one of them to abandon their worldview. Neither will. Ridge's anger toward Eric will bleed into resentment toward Brooke, not because she caused it, but because she represents the Logan influence Ridge feels he is constantly fighting. Brooke, in turn, will grow weary of being asked to apologize for her family's ambition. She has spent a lifetime absorbing blame for other people's discomfort. That patience is finite. This week does not end Ridge and Brooke's marriage, but it pushes it closer to a fracture that may not be reparable next time. Eric Forrester, the founder who chose legacy over loyalty. Eric knows what his decision will cost him. He has lived long enough to recognize the price of defiance. But he also knows something Ridge does not. Obedience is not the same as respect. By standing with Katie, Eric has drawn a line, not against Forrester creations, but against stagnation. Against fear masquerading as tradition. Eric is no longer interested in preserving power structures that exist only to maintain control. His loyalty is now to creativity, mentorship, and relevance. That choice may isolate him, but it also frees him, and that freedom threatens everyone who still relies on his shadow to validate their authority. Steffi's miscalculation, strength without adaptation. Steffi Forrester Finnegan prides herself on clarity, on decisiveness, on understanding how power functions. What she underestimates is transformation. Steffi believes this crisis can be managed through reinforcement, tightening alliances, reaffirming hierarchy, applying pressure where necessary. But pressure works only when systems are intact. Eric's defiance has cracked the foundation. Katie's success will widen that crack. And the younger generation watching all of this unfold will learn a dangerous lesson. Power is negotiable. Steffi's mistake will not be aggression, it will be rigidity. RJ will, and the end of innocence. By the end of this week, RJ Forrester and Will Spencer will no longer be boys orbiting powerful families. They will be combatants. Their rivalry will harden, shedding ambiguity. Every interaction will be measured, every word weighed. Trust will be replaced by strategy. Electra will feel that shift immediately. The warmth that once existed will cool, replaced by tension neither of them knows how to articulate yet. This rivalry will not burn out quickly. It will define them. Dylan, the survivor who sees the board clearly. Dylan's greatest advantage is perspective. She is not emotionally invested in legacy wars. She is not burdened by family expectation. She watches, learns, and adapts. When Dylan eventually makes a decisive move, it will be because she understands something the others don't. In a collapsing system, neutrality is temporary, but adaptability is permanent. Hope and Liam, calm before the next storm. Hope and Liam's gratitude-driven stability will not last untouched. It never does. In this world, peace attracts disruption. Their strength will be tested not by betrayal, but by proximity to chaos. And chaos always demands a response. What cannot be undone? By the end of this week, several truths will be unavoidable. Eric has chosen his legacy over his company. Sheila has chosen patience over mercy. RJ and will have chosen rivalry over coexistence. And the Forrester dynasty has chosen preservation over evolution. History suggests only one of those choices survives long-term. Consequences made visible. When power slips, truth surfaces, and damage becomes public. Every long war has a moment when it stops being theoretical. a moment when private tensions bleed into public space and denial becomes impossible. For the bold and the beautiful, the week of January 19th marks exactly that transition. This is where choices stop feeling abstract. This is where consequences arrive. Sheila Sharp's first move, doubt as a weapon. Sheila does not announce herself. She never does when she is at her most effective. Instead, the first signs of her presence appear as questions. A colleague quietly wonders aloud whether Taylor Hayes is too emotionally involved in her recent decisions. A patient cancels an appointment, citing discomfort. A subtle comment circulates. Untraceable, unprovable, but persistent. None of it points directly to Sheila. That's the point. Sheila understands that institutions don't collapse from scandal. They collapse from uncertainty. Once people begin to doubt Taylor's objectivity, everything Taylor says becomes suspect, even the truth. Taylor will sense the shift before she understands it. Conversations will feel colder, support less automatic, trust slightly delayed. She will blame stress. She always does. By the time she recognizes the pattern, it will already be self-sustaining. Deacon Sharp, the isolation phase. Deacon's consequences arrive differently. His world doesn't grow hostile, it grows quiet. Calls go unanswered. Opportunities stall. Small inconveniences pile up until stability feels fragile again. Someone he trusted begins to question his judgment. Another keeps their distance. Deacon has rebuilt his life on the belief that the past no longer defines him. Sheila's strategy is to prove that belief false without ever confronting him directly. By isolating Deacon socially and professionally, she forces him into a familiar emotional corner, one where desperation replaces confidence, and desperation leads to mistakes. Taylor's internal collapse, when the mind turns on itself. Taylor Hayes is trained to read others. She is not trained to distrust herself. As doubt spreads externally, it takes root internally. Taylor begins reviewing conversations, replaying moments, questioning instincts that once felt solid. This is where Sheila's plan becomes most dangerous. Taylor will not defend herself aggressively because she doesn't yet believe she's under attack. She will try to self-correct, overcompensate, withdraw, each move reinforcing the perception that something is wrong. And in doing so, Taylor becomes complicit in her own destabilization. Ridge Forrester's control problem goes public. Ridge Forrester is accustomed to command. At Forrester Creations, his word has always carried weight until now. Eric's absence from daily operations creates a vacuum Ridge cannot fill with authority alone. Designers begin questioning direction. Executives quietly hedge their bets. Loyalty becomes conditional. The first visible sign of Ridge's weakening control comes not in rebellion, but in hesitation. People wait before agreeing. They ask follow-up questions. They consult Steffi more frequently. Ridge notices, and he does not take it well. His responses become sharper, less patient, more reactive. What Ridge doesn't realize is that intensity, once perceived as leadership, now reads as insecurity. The shift is subtle, but irreversible. Steffi Forrester's defensive offensive. Steffi responds to instability the only way she knows how, by tightening the structure. She reinforces protocols, reasserts expectations, quietly reminds employees where their future lies. But the effectiveness of that approach depends on belief. And belief is already eroding. Eric's success outside Forrester Creations has planted a dangerous idea. Talent does not need permission to thrive. Steffi's efforts will slow the bleed, but they will not stop it. Because control cannot coexist with inspiration. And inspiration has left the building. Katie Logan's first real victory and its cost. Katie's fashion house does not launch with fireworks. It launches with credibility. Early interest from buyers. Positive industry buzz. Respectful but unmistakable attention. Eric's involvement ensures it is taken seriously. For Katie, this moment is deeply validating. but validation attracts scrutiny. The Forresters watch closely, waiting for a misstep. Ridge interprets success as provocation. Brooke feels pride laced with guilt. Katie is not trying to hurt anyone, but she is no longer willing to shrink to keep others comfortable. And that refusal will cost her emotionally, even as it elevates her professionally. RJ and Will. Rivalry enters the open. The tension between RJ Forrester and Will Spencer finally becomes visible. Not explosive, but unmistakable. A disagreement during a meeting. A pointed comment framed as professionalism. Electra notices the shift immediately. What was once unspoken now hums beneath every interaction. Neither RJ nor Will backs down because backing down feels like erasure. Their rivalry has crossed from personal insecurity into identity defense. They are no longer reacting to each other. They are defining themselves against each other. Electra Forrester, caught between two futures. Electra begins to understand that her presence is no longer neutral. Her reactions are read. Her silences interpreted. She feels pulled toward loyalty, toward emotion, toward expectation. The jealousy she once dismissed now feels justified. The trust she assumed now requires maintenance. Electra's challenge is not choosing between RJ and Will. It is choosing who she is willing to become in the process. Dylan steps closer without touching the fire. As conflict sharpens, Dylan does something unexpected. She steps closer, but not into the fight. She offers support, listens, makes herself useful without taking sides. In a system unraveling from conflict, calm becomes currency. Dylan's presence stabilizes certain spaces, and that alone increases her influence. Others will begin to rely on her. And reliance is power. Brooke Logan's quiet realization. Brooke begins to see the pattern forming around Taylor and Deacon. She recognizes the signs because she has lived them before. What terrifies Brooke is not the certainty of Sheila's involvement. It's the predictability of the outcome. She knows how this ends, and she knows that warning people rarely changes the ending. Brooke's struggle will be deciding whether to intervene early and risk being dismissed, or wait until proof exists, knowing the cost of delay. Hope and Liam. Stability under pressure. Hope and Liam feel the encroaching tension even as they try to remain grateful. Stability in this world does not go unnoticed. It invites testing. They will be asked to take sides, to comment, to react, and each reaction will pull them closer to the storm they hope to avoid. The week's true outcome. By the end of the week of January 19th, nothing dramatic has exploded, and that is exactly what makes it dangerous. Reputations have been weakened. Authority has been questioned. Relationships have shifted from trust to vigilance. Most importantly, everyone now understands, consciously or not, that the old rules no longer apply. This is no longer about loyalty. It is about survival, the point of no return, and what remains after the smoke clears. By the time the week of January 19th draws to a close, the bold and the beautiful has not delivered a single clean explosion. No shocking arrest, no dramatic death, no public meltdown that neatly resets the board. Instead, it delivers something far more devastating: irreversibility. This is the week where everyone realizes, some consciously, some instinctively, that the world they were operating in no longer exists. The rules that governed loyalty, power, and protection have quietly dissolved. And what replaces them is uncertain, unstable, and deeply personal. Sheila Sharp reveals herself without stepping forward. The most chilling realization comes slowly. Sheila Sharp never needed to appear. By the end of the week, patterns emerge that can no longer be ignored. Too many coincidences, too many carefully placed doubts, too many outcomes that benefit only one person. Taylor begins to understand, not emotionally but intellectually, that she is being dismantled. Deacon feels it in his bones. The isolation, the creeping instability, the sense that the ground beneath him is no longer solid. Yet neither can prove anything, And that is Sheila's greatest victory. She has reminded them, and everyone watching, that power does not require presence. That fear does not require confrontation. And that control is most effective when it feels invisible. Sheila has not returned to reclaim a relationship. She has returned to reclaim dominance. Taylor and Deacon. Love that comes with a price tag. By week's end, Taylor and Deacon face an unspoken truth. Their connection is no longer just risky, it is radioactive. Even if they choose each other, they will do so under constant pressure. Every success will be questioned, every setback scrutinized, every emotional reaction interpreted through the lens of suspicion. Taylor must confront a reality she has never truly faced before. Understanding danger does not mean you can outthink it. Deacon must accept that redemption does not erase history. It only makes you more vulnerable to it. Whatever they decide next, it will cost them something they cannot recover. Ridge Forrester's fatal misstep. Ridge's biggest mistake this week is not his anger, it is his certainty. He convinces himself that this crisis can still be managed, that Eric's rebellion is temporary, that loyalty can be reasserted through pressure and authority. But Ridge misses the moment when people stop fearing consequences and start evaluating options. By the time Ridge senses that shift, it is already too late. His confrontation with Eric does not end in reconciliation. It ends in distance, a distance that cannot be bridged with apologies or compromises because it is rooted in values, not misunderstandings. Eric has chosen growth. Ridge has chosen control. Those choices are incompatible. Eric Forrester's quiet victory and lonely one. Eric does not celebrate his defiance. He does not gloat over Katie's early success. He does not revel in Ridge's frustration. Instead, Eric experiences something far more complex: peace. For the first time in years, his actions align fully with his beliefs. He is mentoring again, creating again, inspiring again, and that fulfillment comes with an undeniable cost: alienation from the empire he built. Eric understands that legacies rarely survive intact. They evolve or they die. And if his legacy must fracture to remain meaningful, he is willing to accept that. Katie Logan, standing alone and standing tall. Katie ends the week changed, not hardened, not vengeful, but clarified. She sees now that independence is not granted, it is claimed, and that claiming it invites resistance, resentment, and scrutiny. Still, she does not retreat. Katie's success does not come with triumphalism. It comes with resolve, a quiet, unshakable understanding that shrinking herself to maintain harmony was never sustainable. If her growth causes discomfort, so be it. For the first time, Katie Logan chooses herself without apology. Brooke Logan, the coming choice. Brooke ends the week at a crossroads she knows all too well. She sees Ridge slipping into patterns that have destroyed their marriage before. She sees Katie standing in her own strength. She sees Eric refusing to bend. And she understands the truth she has avoided. Soon, she will be forced to choose alignment over neutrality. Brooke has spent her life believing love means compromise. This time, compromise may mean betrayal of herself or of others. Whatever she chooses next will define the next chapter of her life. RJ and Will, the future takes shape. By the final moments of the week, the rivalry between RJ Forrester and Will Spencer is no longer hypothetical. It has a rhythm now. Measured interactions, strategic silences, emotional distance masquerading as professionalism. They are no longer boys reacting to family drama. They are men being shaped by it. And the tragedy is this: neither of them fully understands that they are not enemies by nature, but by inheritance. Their conflict is not personal. It is systemic. Electra and Dylan. Two paths forward. Electra stands on unstable ground, realizing that love inside a legacy system demands sacrifice, often of self. Dylan, meanwhile, stands just outside that system, adapting, observing, positioning herself for longevity rather than victory. Their contrast matters because it signals something the older generation refuses to accept. The future will not mirror the past. Hope and Liam, the fragility of peace. Hope and Liam close the week grateful, but no longer naive. They understand now that stability in this world is not permanent. It must be defended, negotiated, and sometimes compromised. Their love remains strong, but the storm has noticed them. Conclusion: a week that didn't explode, but changed everything. The week of January 19th will not be remembered for a single shocking moment. It will be remembered as the week when certainty died, when loyalty stopped being automatic, when legacy stopped being protection, when power stopped being centralized. Eric Forrester proved that influence can exist outside institutions. Sheila Sharp proved that destruction does not require visibility. Katie Logan proved that independence is worth the cost. Ridge Forrester proved that control, once questioned, cannot be reclaimed easily. And the next generation, RJ, Will, Electra, Dylan, proved that the future will not wait for permission. Nothing resets after this week. Relationships will fracture further. Alliances will shift. Consequences will compound. This is not the end of the story. It is the moment the story becomes unavoidable.